Casey Nolan there, live for us at the White House. Thank you. I want to talk about one of the great ironies that exists here in D.C. D.C., I want to talk directly to you. It was your residents, some of your residents, who died protecting this building 2 years ago. It was some of your residents who were injured, who suffered the physical and emotional scars of what happened that day. It was your residents who put on the National Guard uniforms and came out to protect this building in the days and weeks after January 6th. At the same time all of that played out, D.C. had no vote on the floor of the U.S. House when it came to certifying the results of the 2020 election. D.C. tonight, when the House goes back into session, will have no vote when it comes to who will be the Speaker of the House, the person second in line to the presidency. What's changed since 1773? When Boston colonists threw tea into the harbor and exclaimed across the Atlantic, "No taxation without representation"? A lot has changed. Clearly not enough. More than 710,000 residents of D.C. do not have a vote on the floor of the House and the Senate. Long past time that changes, so we have equal representation here, not only in D.C., but across the country. Leslie?
Yeah, you got that right, making the case for...
I want to leave you with one more thing before we go. 3 people were gunned down in our country's latest mass shooting yesterday in a neighborhood just outside of Orlando, Florida. The victims include a 38-year-old woman, a 9-year-old girl, and a 24-year-old news reporter with Orlando TV station News 13. The mother of that 9-year-old and a TV cameraman from News 13 were also shot and wounded, and this one hits really close to home. I worked at News 13 in Orlando for 3 years, from 2009 to 2012. I still have lifelong friends who still work there. One of my former students at Maryland is a reporter there now. And to see my friends and former colleagues pour their hearts out on social media while at the same time having to go on live television to report on the murder of one of their own, it's heartbreaking, it's tragic, and it really hurts a lot. Now, I'm not going to turn this into a political commentary on guns or gun violence or a reflection on cultural or social economics. I do want to say this, though. No one is exempt anywhere. Gun violence in the U.S. hits everywhere. No one deserves to be gunned down in a Florida neighborhood, on a D.C. street, in an elementary school, at a Walmart, in a gay club, on a metro bus. So what do? I want you to take wisdom from this man I met covering a story a little over a year ago, an 83-year-old Marine named Eddie Smith. He barely escaped a raging house fire at his home in Fort Washington, Maryland. I asked, "Mr. Eddie, how did you react so quickly?" He told me his Marine training taught him to always assess his surroundings and ask himself, what if? What if I'm about to go live and somebody starts blasting away? What if gunshots ring out when I'm at the grocery store? Mr. Eddie's point was, always think about what you'd do if something really bad happened right now. In the absence of legislation and a complete societal shift on how we collectively think about guns, it's on us, each of us, to look out for the ones we work with, the ones we love, and ourselves to stay healthy and safe. Just remember, what if? That's WSA 9 News at 7. We'll see you back here tonight at 11. Let me say one more thing about all of this. D.C.'s Home Rule Act passed in 1973. Only 3 times in history, 3, has Congress overruled the elected leaders of D.C. and overturned one of its laws. And the last time it happened was 30 years ago. You heard me ask Councilmember Pinto there if this was 1773. So it was 250 years ago when colonists threw the Boston Tea Party and told King George III, no taxation without representation. Well, somebody's got to say it. Colonialism is still alive and well and thriving right here in the District of Columbia, right in the sacred beating heart of America's great democratic experiment. And now, in 2023, a majority white male political body of 435 people has subjected its own will onto a group of 713,000 district residents, the majority of whom are Black and Latino. Self-governance is the hallmark of our political system, but that apparently only applies if you've got the right skin color and if you're registered with the right political party. But Democrats here aren't off the hook either. 42 crossed over on one of those votes and 31 on the other. I get it. They voted yes to explain back home in their districts that they protected election integrity and stood tough on crime. For them, this had nothing to do with D.C.'s autonomy. Now, a bunch of D.C. leaders today called this whole GOP effort political grandstanding. It was. And with so many other pressing matters facing Americans from coast to coast, for Congress to spend the whole morning on this was a complete waste of time. The father of Black History Month, Carter Woodson, once said, quote, "We should emphasize not Negro history, but the Negro in history." He was one of the first scholars to understand and champion a simple truth. Black history is American history. It's a sentiment that we believe in and tried our best to honor this month by highlighting some of our history's unseen figures, people of today doing good work in the community. And of course, go, the heartbeat of D.C. You know we can't leave that out. So today may be the last day of Black History Month, but Black history is unfolding all around us every day. And it should be, as Carter Woodson said, emphasized every day.